Dracodon, I'm guessing, is kind of a stab at Draconex, which some people believe is nothing more than a juvenile Paleocephalosaurus. Hey, toy and dinosaur fans, we're actually starting to round up our week, and today I want to look at another Transformer from the War for Cybertron. It is a Maximal this time, so it is Dracodon, and I believe another fossilizer, but I don't believe he breaks down into parts, so it's not like a core class. This is like one of the small ones. They're all supposed to be, I think, in scale. This is supposed to be from Draconex, which some people have argued was a juvenile Paleocephalosaurus. It's back and forth because I believe that there might be a couple of Draconex fossils that are around, but this is supposed to be from Draconex, which is why we got Dracodon. So I'm ready to get this one out and to play with it. What do you say? Alright, so Draconex on card, and this is kind of what we're looking at. We see it's part of the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron trilogy, and we get this nice kind of open bubble of Draconex in there. Of course, we have our Kingdom War for Cybertron trilogy card back here with the crash ship, much like we did with Paleotrex, but this time we're getting a green Draconex fossil up here of the figure, so we know which character we're dealing with. It's part of the Takara Tomy, the Transformer Generations, and just in case, we do see that's authentic Transformers, because we've got that authentic Transformers there, along with the Autobot logo. We do see it's Dracodon over on the side, with the Cybertron language right over there, which is pretty cool. On the back, we do get a picture of Draconex as the robot here, which is pretty sweet. I like the look of it here. And then we've got, of course, the fossilized version of them. And this one transforms in 14 easy steps. So I can't wait to figure out how that's going to work. Now, Draconex is a core class figure, so not quite the big guys, not quite the little builders or disguisers. This is going to be kind of mid-ground figure. So this will be one that'll be a new size for my shelf. Can't wait to check it out. Now, that's the package. The package is going to tell us anything else about this one. We need to get this one off and get to transforming. And of course, directly out of the package, this is Dracodon with the weapon, and the weapon is supposed to fit kind of in hand like this. Use a part of himself as like a whip or a sword, and then we get our direction sheet. Now with this one, we get, of course, the legal sheet. Yeah, get rid of that. But here's the one that we need. This is our Dracodon Transformers Instruction Manual, and it's so far it's got some pretty decent. Let's see, 7. Yeah, got some pretty decent directions. So let's take a look at this figure real quick. So as a figure, it's got, of course, transformer articulation. These are all on ball sockets here. So it looks like this is able to have a pretty good range of movement. Head itself is kind of on a ball socket, but it's limited by some of the sculpting here. But it's a really cool face. I dig that face a lot. And then leg-wise, we got the same thing. Hinges here. Ball sockets here, so it's got a pretty good, looks like a really good range of movement. Uh-oh. That's a pretty stiff joint right there. Let's see, the other one moves really well, but this one is, it's a little stiff. I have to put that in some hot water at some point. Yeah. But I think all in all, for a figure, especially for like a robot figure, I feel like that does pretty good. Yeah, it's got a lot of good movement. But we didn't come here just to see this as a robot. We came here to see this thing form. So let's get transformed. Alright, and then of course this is Dracodon with, you know, as a fossilizer, and it does not come apart. So much how like Paleotrex had like sockets and stuff that would break apart for different pieces to break off and to create different things, this is not like that at all. It folds in on itself, it doesn't have any parts that are supposed to snap off, which is actually what I think of as a transformer. So it's got some pretty decent transforming movement in here. This is one of those where like the fossil form is actually pretty cool. I actually dig the robot form a lot. So I don't feel like one is giving up more than the other. I feel like this is kind of between the robot and the fossil form married both really well together. There's a good bit of detail in fossil. There's a good bit of detail in the robot, and both of them seem very believable. With that, we do have a rocker here for the head, so we can rock it up and down. We do get a jaw movement here. There's no articulation in the arms. This probably could have done if it had like a little ball joint on it, much like they did with Paleotrex, but it's not that large, so these arms here are static. You can always pull it out to the side, but then you start to change the transformation. You've got the tail, it will move, so it's got a little bit of movement here where you can turn it and sculpt it however you want, either top side or bottom. The legs have a lot of the movement, so you've got a ball socket here, the hinge, and the ball socket up here. And this is pretty much like the leg is for the robot. That hasn't really changed too much. Now let's get it back in robot form and check it out with some other pieces. Alright, so here's Dracodon, and we'll compare Dracodon to Paleotrex and see how much larger Paleotrex is. And of course, remember, Spinister was a lot higher too. So this is a smaller class figure. Now with that though, some of the other smaller pieces like the combiners, oops, this little guy here, and even what I call the disguisers, the ones that were like little hiding pieces, they're all about, they're not roughly the same scale, but they're very close together, so they're not too much larger. But these pieces, so like if we were to transform him into the blaster, let's get his robot form out here and make an extremely large and ridiculously sized hand cannon. This one always cracks me up. Always felt like these were pushing just a little too far, but you know, what can you do? Let's see, I don't have any other Autobots. The other characters I have are all bad guys. So you could tell for like those weapon pieces, it's a little large. Oh god. So, you know, the smaller core class figures, they're not going to be quite as large as you would expect. This one here, let's transform this one and kind of get it. This is the one that transformed in 4 pieces or 4 steps. It's pushing a little too hard. Let's see, let's give him a shield here. Yeah, see. So this one is going to be kind of one of those where it's like it's better left on its own. The weapon sets or the other pieces need to go with the larger class, and this one's going to be kind of one of those Transformers that's as is. Now this is, I believe, a maximum, so it's one of the good guys, which is pretty cool. I finally have a good guy on my shelf. However, it's not a good guy that can really hold the weapon, so I'm still in search of a really good
Autobot transformer that's the size of my Starscream or Spinister in order to hold these weapons and to hang out with Dracodon here. Now, I did find mine on clearance. I found it at Walmart. It was kind of going out of the wayside. There was a couple there, but I didn't see these all over the place when they were initially out, though I hadn't really been looking. So I think you could probably still find this at clearance, either on Walmart or even find it on Amazon, because it's not like it's been out for too long. So that's all I got to say about Dracodon. It's a pretty interesting little transformer, and I dig him. I'm glad he's on the shelf. I kind of wondered if he glowed in the dark, but I haven't seen anything that would indicate that he does. He's just a very, very bright lime green, which seems kind of odd for being a fossil. It's like he's a radioactive fossil. So, remember, they're not dolls. They're action figures. In this case, transforming fossil robot action figures. Yeah, it's interesting.
When I'm not recording videos here on YouTube, I'm actually over on a podcast on marvindogmedia.com called Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. It's a really cool toy podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, I need your help getting my YouTube channel to grow. Be sure to subscribe down below with that big red button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted of anything that comes from me to you. Like this video, it helps YouTube know that you like what I'm making, and comment down below. I like chatting with you all.